Wait for somebody to get in here, but I'll give you for when people are watching in the beginning. But what we're going to be doing today is making some pans, if you will, or setting some pans up for the Conibears. It's going to learn with me because it's kind of a learning process of the pans, how to do it. I think I did that right. It has to be out further, otherwise if I push this in, the corners stick out and don't want to cut the trigger, so it's going to be a little bit longer, if you will, kind of like that. But we'll see if that works this season. If it doesn't, then I'll shorten them up in next season. But let me putting them on the Savage Joe 220s. So Savage Joe. All tangled in here. Who's in here? I don't know who's in here yet. I haven't said anything. Get the safety pan out of here. Come on. All this wire and all this stuff is all tangled in here, but it's okay. We expect when you put stuff out in like Monday, so I mean, normally it'll be all organized, but not too worried about it right now. Gonna throw three at a time and put them out. I think 3 or 4 at a time. So what's happening is the chain of the earth anchors that you saw in the other video getting tangled. But there's one of them right there. See, got through there like that. That like that. Make sure it's set the right way. So I got it sitting there like this with the triggers down, right? So what we're gonna do is take the connie pan right here, or the wood connie pan. It's a hardwood, drilled holes on both sides, right there. Slide it onto the trigger. That's what I'm gonna do down here real quick, and then I'll show you. Slide it on. Come on, a little further. Oops, a little too far on the trigger. So now that it's on there, right? Trying not to get all the grease and crap on my hands. This new jacket I just bought. So now that it's on there, as you can see, it's on there, right? Try to straighten it out real quick. Then if the trigger is down like that, it needs to bend in. So I'm going to bend it that way, and I'll show you that. So right now it's like this. I got to bend that in. Come on, there we go. Think that's right. Let's see. Angle's right. It's pretty close. I'll have to adjust that out in the field, but there's the not much of the hammer. I'm putting wood Conibear pans on my Conibear. So there's that. Gonna sit like that in there. Have to adjust this a little bit. It's off kiltered. Come on. Now it should be about pretty straight. I mean, it's gonna sit like that. Obviously, when this is set, I'm not gonna set this one because it is a Savage Joe, and if you aren't careful, you're gonna catch yourself. And I don't feel like catching myself tonight on camera, like I did the first time when I set this. I caught myself. So it's gonna sit like that in there. Technically, it's gonna sit kind of like that when it's set, and then they push that down and it sets off. There's one done. Get another one out of here. Try not to touch the chain right now with this nice coat on because I don't feel like getting cosmoline or grease all over me. There's what it looks like in the beginning. Let's move you guys down here a little bit. You guys see? Can you see me? I'm feeling. You can take it back and forth, I think. There's that. Trapped right here. There's the triggers moving together. They're pre-drilled. As you see. I'm going to take it, slide it on. Slide it in the holes. Come on. Right in the hole. Just going to have to slide on there a little ways. I'm going to slide it on just enough that when I bend these over, they don't go past here. They don't get caught on anything. But what that ends up doing is leaving a little bit of a gap here, which I think will be fine. a little further. Get that out. That's about right. Oh, a little too long on this side. Come on. There. Nope, a little too short. Then it takes a practice, and I haven't done this, so this is the first time doing this today. Let's do that. Come on. That should be good. You see that? There it is. Try to keep it on that side. So I got this little bit of movement here that I can do without going it. So now, when I set this, I flip this over. Not set it, but when I did it the other way, I turn this around. Gotta make sure I do this right, otherwise you're face out and away from the trap, which they don't get caught and stuff. So it's like that. No, it wasn't. It was upside down this way. See. Be up like this and like that. So I'm trying to match the one I have below it, basically, to make sure I do this right. So let's see. Yep, that's right. So now, see if I can show you this. It's gonna be hard. Gonna be like that, the best I can, as much as I tip it up. So there it is, right? Now I'm gonna take this. Gonna be like this, and take my fingers down here, lower the thing, and bend it in best I can. That's not good. I got to do that again. Bend it a little lower down. Only problem with these short little pans is if I bend it, if I slide it in too much, right? These are short pans. I would have thought these pans would have been longer. Let's put it up here. Okay. I would have thought these pans would have been longer, so that way they didn't have all this extra gap here just sitting here. So when it's sitting there, they run into this gap. But oh well, this is what I got from F&T is wood ones, but probably can make my own. But when it sits there, gotta make sure it's level. Now, of course, the leveling are a lot junk I do in the field. I put it into the buckets. These are going in buckets. They're not, regular trails. They're going to trails. I don't know if the pans will do much of a difference. Raccoons, possum. I want to see if I can get a coyote to go in the bucket. That's the ultimate goal this year. I know they're very, very cagey. Hammer's asking what I'm catching. Let's see if I can light that up. He's asking what I'm catching or chopping. See, coyotes are super cagey, so I'm going to try to get one in the trap, but probably not going to happen. But I'm going to try to go for bobcat. Bobcat, raccoon, and possum. Bobcat, obviously the hardest would be coyote. Second would be bobcat, the hardest, then like raccoon, and then possum. But that's because we don't have a lot of raccoon around here. We have a lot more possum than we do raccoon. But I know there's bobcat in the area, and I know there's coyotes in the area. So I have them on trail camera last year when we put carcass up, and they ate the carcass. Beaver carcass. They eat that thing. A week later, it was gone, ripped off there completely. 2 full beavers put up there with the castor cut open, with the castor smell coming out. We drew them right in. We didn't save the castor last year because, we really weren't in the market to sell them or anything. We're just personal use, just kind of chopping for fun. Yeah. I think that will work. Maybe. Should. Should work. Let's see. I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm not gonna set these and test them now. Because once you set them, the springs will fall off, and you end up having all kinds of problems. And then you catch yourself. See, I made the mistake of going like this and grabbing them and bending them like this. Then my hands were a little short because I didn't realize the bar was there. I didn't think about it. Went to grab it and I slipped off, and I caught both hands in the trap. Because I have smaller hands, so I can't grab it like Trapper Jay just grabs the whole thing. I have to kind of squeeze it a little bit and then grab it. Barely can grab onto it, and slipped and bit myself. I'm actually live on Facebook on my outdoors page when I did that. Fishing, Anthony Rubio fishing, I bit myself. Yeah. Quickly, I was live, but then I did not post it. It was live, but then you have to click like post to publish it, the posting, or you can delete the posting after you're live. I just deleted it. I was like, I'm the one person that was on there. Oh well, I have a video right now on I'm only a 330 member, yeah. There's a 220. I've heard the 220s hit harder than the 330s do, though. And it hurt for a while, but I mean, now after the fact, I'm like, it could have been worse, but let's just hope not. It got me across the knuckles here. It got me straight across the knuckles. Well, like this. So atop the, so it got me like, let's see, got me like this. From there across the knuckles and out. So you will kind of a diagonal angle from the pinky tip to my thumb, pinky to thumb. So cross diagonally. It's hard to explain. It happens to trap. Yeah, see, I caught this hand in there across the knuckles, and I caught this hand. See, I got pinched right here. The skin got pinched, and then my pinky got caught in there. So like, or no, ring finger got caught in there. So I pulled these out, and I had nobody around. So then I had to press the jaws and pull this hand out across the knuckles, and yeah, that was a mess. Not much, Raymond. Ooh, there's flies around here, man. Ooh. Wow. Not much. Today, what we're doing is putting pans on some Savage Conaveras. Another one done. I got to do 12 of them. That's what I bought, but I have 13 Savage O's. This one, of course, I didn't have. I didn't have the extensions that I use in other Savage O's. So what I did is took some 8-inch drowner cable and made my own loop there and stuff. Made my own loop there, like a drowner would be without the drowner lock, both ends. And then quick link. Not really worried about theft on that. Hold on. This one, of course, has them spread out. I'm gonna have to fix that. That was before I decided to do pans. Which these are pretty flimsy triggers, as you can see. Pretty flimsy trigger, so it's not that big of a problem. They're after J-bait. After. They're after J. What do you mean? The bobcat predators and stuff like that? Because that's what I was going to trap with the pans. But yeah, I got a bunch of Trapper J's bait. Actually, I have 2. So Trapper J's on Facebook. One of his packages got taken by the authorities because they thought it was drugs. Well, guess whose package that was? Got to Hillsboro, the mail post office, and they intercepted it. And so I called the lady and said, well, my package got intercepted. You know, it's not drugs, it's skunk essence. She's like, well, we're going to have a guy investigate and make sure it's not drugs. And I'm just thinking, I feel bad for the guy investigating. And then I told her, well, make sure he wears a mask. Or a couple. She was like, man, this thing's sticking up the whole facility. It's only a 1-ounce jar, and they're like, it's sticking up the whole facility. Gonna laugh when they open it, look at the jar, and it says, oh, fuck on it. I'm like, hey, that's gonna be his response. Like, what the fuck, or oh, fuck? I caught myself in a few 650s and Ken Extremes during the week. Kite line I ran after so many times getting whacked. No lingers. Probably, yeah. Oh. Is the coon bait ready? The it's ready. I'm just letting it sit in there. It's kind of an experiment now. But the coon bait, I'll show you it if you want. The fly. Oh, the flies. Yeah, they're after I mean, they're after a little bit of everything in here. Got a bunch of stuff in here. Nothing food wise except for the stuff over there, but oh, never mind. There's a grass bag over here that had grass in it on the lawnmower right here next to me. Probably what they're in. They're always so happy. I try to be. And I've had people like I've said stuff and kidding around with my friends, and they're like, well, if you keep this up, we're gonna have problems. And I'm like, I send them a little gift, like a little gift thing that says it's a penguin, point out it's a joke, because almost 100% stuff I kid around with people, I'm kidding around, right? I'm talking to you guys. I'm serious, doing what I need to do. But if I were to get mad, promise me, I promise you, you would know, because I would get really big, loud, and I'd be pointing at you, and you know I'm mad, and I don't get mad very easily. I mean, I don't get mad at people often. I'll tell you a story though. I was in New Orleans, and we're down by Bourbon Street, and we're taking like a ghost tour, a voodoo tour, and we went down the street, and we were down there, they're talking, and I turn around, and this kid's like dragging this girl through the street, and it took me about, I could get the words, don't you effing, but at that time, those words out, I was across that street, touch her, and I said it again, don't you effing touch her, and he threw his hands up, backed up, he was beating on her, right? Literally grabbed her and dragged her across the ground, threw his hands up, backed up, like, they said, I didn't mean to. And he's like, I just need her phone, or she just needs her phone. And trust me, I'm only 5'4". That dude is bigger than me. He threw his hands up like like a little, you know what? Yeah, that dude. Then he ran away, of course, after said the police are called. Then that was Friday, and then Sunday we're back down on Bourbon Street, and he's walking around with the girl, and the girl has a big black eye. I was so mad. And they stayed in the same hotel, so she probably went back to the hotel, and he probably beat her some more. Pissed me the hell off. Oh, I was mad. I was really, really mad. Like, fuming mad. Stop in to say hello. Hit your thumbs up. Thank you. I've never really thought about the thumbs up aspect of it, but yeah, I think it makes a difference. If you guys hit it, that's fine with me. I'd appreciate it. Misfit. Hot coffee. Hello, Raymond. Oh, hello, Raymond. Yeah. Yeah, so that was just kind of fiasco in Florida, but straight up stopped the domestic violence. And I was with my mom, and she turns to me and she's like, dude, you were flipping scary as hell. I'm like, I gotta be loud, Italian in me. I gotta be loud. I gotta be, get tall and loud and rush across the street. I'm only 5'4", and that dude ran. That dude ran away like a little scared girl. But the other, the B word. Yeah, he ran away quick. I'll show you guys the raccoon stuff. Got stuff all over the garage here. See if I can show you that. How do I turn? I don't know if I can turn the camera around or not. I don't even know how to do that. But here it is. Right, of course, there's a garbage bag with all the cans there. You won't see that, but the cans are over there. There it is right there. Of course, this is on it. Look at all the bubbles. Look at it. It's bubbling like crazy right now. It's total fizz on top. There's ants and flies all over it. The bucket straight up has mold on it. Yeah, it's strong. It's bubbling right now. It's bubbling. I don't know if you see it bubbling. There's stuff bubbling. I'm gonna mix it for you. I think it's beyond ready, but I'm gonna see how well it goes, and I'm gonna put it out. Hopefully December 1st, but we'll see. It's 15 days from now. It's no good. I'll just make another batch. I have a whole 50-pound thing over here of it, and should be fine. So it's still in the corn. I mean, it sure is bubbling a lot, though. I don't know what that is. Who the hell cares? Pardon the French. Yeah. So it's right there. It's clean, it's corn. Smells good. I think it's mold, but I don't care. I'll still put it out. I'll give really rat's ass. Pardon the French, but that's me not really caring. It's more experiment at this point. I would, if ideally 2 weeks ago or a week ago, I would have put it out, but if right as it started bubbling, I would think it would be putting off the most smell, but I don't really. Our season hasn't started yet. Like I said, so I might put the thing back on it right now. There we go. So got a little bit on my hands, like last year. Trying not to get it on my new coat, which is right here. Which there's a long story in that. It's from Schaefer Outfitters. You guys saw my other Schaefer Outfitters coat. The coat is a $263 shipped to my door, right? Lo and behold, I'm watching it. The UPS guy goes by twice. Watching it, it says delivered. I'm thinking, I look outside. I'm like, this can't be delivered. He's not even here. He delivered it to the wrong address. I called him and I told him what it was and how expensive it was, and he's like, it's a high priority item. We're gonna go pick it up right now. He said they'll call me within an hour, right? No call within that hour. 2 hours later, it's at my door. He's dropping it off. No call, no nothing. I was like, what the heck? I smell something. It's not what was out there. What's your target animal this year? I'm from Michigan. I target beavers. So the majority of what I do, what me, my brother, and my dad do, we all have our license. The majority of what we do, water animals, underwater. In fact, had the neighbor call right up the street here, about 5 minutes in the truck, said, when he's called and says, he owns a blueberry patch. He's like, we need to put traps in. When can you put them in? We said, November 15th, we put them in out there. So he's calling us, let's put them in. We walked around out there. There's beaver sign, there's castor mounds, there's chewed sticks. That was before we just had the atmospheric river, basically 14 inches of water in 2 days, fall from the sky in the gauge type thing. The measurable amount they say on the news was 5 inches, 6 inches. So the gauge just went up and filled up. I mean, it poured and poured. All the counties flooded on the coast. All the farmland. The farmer walked out, literally took a sip of his coffee, and you see in the background as he turned, all the way around him was covered in water. But that's a river I fish, and it crested at 16, 17 feet, and that's flood stage, like moderate flood stage. The most it ever went up to was 21 feet back in 1997, and then 2007 went up 20 feet, which really flooded. So beaver, muskrat, otter. I'm going to try to do some land sets this year for raccoon, possum. Hopefully catch a bobcat and try my luck, kind of fling it on a coyote in the buckets. We're in Indiana, target raccoons and coyotes. Yep. So here's my problem with, I'm in Oregon, so here's my problem with where I live. I live on the west side of the Cascade Mountains, which is the Cascades of the volcanic mountains that bring a fire, like Mount St. Helens, Mount Hood, Mount Adams, stuff like that. Big volcanoes. Probably heard in 1980 the Mount St. Helens blew up. Same mountain range. That literally goes from like California all the way up to Alaska and Canada and all that stuff. Washington State. Kind of. I may be wrong about how far it goes up, but it's definitely in Washington State too. I'm on the west side of them. So we are western coyotes. Well, we don't get snow like the eastern side does. So we don't have considered prime western coyotes. We have western coyotes, but not prime. So we don't get the premium money, if you will. So we aren't chopping the coyotes. We have tons on camera, though. A lot. Just the other day, I had 3 on one picture in the trail camera, 3 together. Don't we need to dispatch them buggers? They'll be passed out drunk. Yeah. It's to the point now, if I put a still there, I'll be making liquor. But no eggs. I don't need the, what is it, Food and Drug Administration, whatever, people down my throat, or I don't need those people down there. We have tons of bobcats here, but no seeing it. See, here for us, we don't have tons. I guess you could say we have a few. In the area we trap up in the mountains, we had one bobcat come in. Then, of course, on the other side of the mountains, there's in one of the areas we had one bobcat, and then up at the golf course, there's another bobcat, which is so a total of one town that's way up in the mountains, like a little mini 4 house town almost. It seems like 5, 6 house town. Bobcat up there. Out of the golf course is 15 minutes, half hour from here. Bobcat out there. My dad works at. About 45 minutes the other way, which would be south. Up out of Big Lake, there's a bobcat up there. They actually named it Bobcat Cove. So there's a few around, but do I think there's a lot? No. It's not like we're getting them on trail cam every night. We've had a trail cam out there for 2 months now, and we've only picked up coyotes, deer, and raccoon. No bobcat on the thing. We put apples out. They should be eating it. Not a lot around here, but we have enough to try to catch them. We aren't doing leg holds. We're doing cages for the bobcat. Let's continue here. So I showed you that. I straightened that out. Kind of wiggly there. Of course, I got the old Halloween stuff here, the old spider web. Gotta be careful of that. And take this. You guys are gonna be a little lower now, so I'm gonna try to show you what I'm doing. I take this. So it's gotta be this way. So I'm trying to match the one that's below it. Take it. It's gonna be hard to see. You see it right there, the tops. Take it. Put it in the hole. I can make all kinds of hole jokes right now, but I gotta keep it PG. Oh, sorry. This is my naughty, dirty sense of humor. Come on. Come on, a little further. Oh, that's too far. So then, of course, put it on there, tilt it over. These are just wood pads from F&T, or wood what are they? Pans, wood pans. But I'm going to take this. Some of you will be able to see it, some of you won't, or you might be able to see it. But I'm going to take this, put my finger down here, lower, right about there, and bend where my fingers are, because this pan is so small that I can't. It's not long enough, wide enough to stick it through and get it all the way close to what I'm doing right here. So it's gonna have to half-ass it. If I really want to mess with it, I'll make mine a little longer, the pans, but it is what it is. Make sure if I set that, it sits right. Move it a little to the side. Of course, when I put it into the bucket, I think I want this up a little bit more. There we go. Of course, the only problem with this, if you look right there, there's a little bit of wire there they bump into before hitting the pan, and that's because this is so narrow. I would have liked it another quarter or half-inch wider, but F&T doesn't do that, and oh well, this is what it is. There's one done right there. Man, I'm slow. I have 3 done, besides this one I did earlier. Let me grab another one. I gotta hurry this up. Whoa, look, I put this in the bucket. Look how bent up that is. It's all wonky. It's all wonky. Look at that. These trigger wires not on the big Savage Joe, the big 11x12s are real strong. On the 220s, they're flimsy. They're real flimsy. So if I'm doing pans with them and just the hell with it, I don't know why they put these things. These triggers are about the size of a little thicker than if you do a wire feed to a welder, a little thicker than the wire that comes out of the welder. But so it's thin stuff, but it is what it is. It's not my favorite. I like the design. I hate the trigger or the trigger wires. We have a ton of Bobcat. Yeah, lots in Southwest Missouri Bobcat. Yeah. So yeah, no, I'm lucky to get one Bobcat, one otter. We don't have season on. I don't think we have a limit on Bobcat. We don't have a limit on otter. A lot of people think we do. We don't. But I'm lucky to get one otter. We don't put out thousands of traps, so we put out 3 dozen roughly. We're lucky to get one Bobcat out of the 4 cages, and maybe one otter. Most usually get one otter a year, so we only have 1 stretching board for otter, but or 2 stretching boards for otter. So I mean, it is what it is. I think you guys are a bit crooked. I actually have you sitting on a charging port for the water sprinkler thing. Oh my god! Here. Let's do the scan. So there's the trap. Make sure it's turn it over like this. Put you guys back down here. And I'll do a review on this coat too. It's a nice coat I got from Schaefer Outfitters. I know some of you saw my other one that's waterproof. I don't know if they're gonna have it back in stock with water resistant. This one is wool, super comfortable. One of my favorite wool coats. Like I want 6 of them. They're so comfortable. Super warm, super comfortable. If you want a warmer one, they have a coat called the Trapper's Jacket that's even warm. This is called the Scout Jacket. It's super warm, but let's see how we did this. So there's the pan. Like I said, hold on both sides. Put it in there. Come on. That's interesting. I wonder how the quality control is on this, since the one trigger wire is actually longer than the other. Come on. Come on, a little further. Come on. That should be good. Nope. Come on, straighten out. A little further. Come on. And these come speed dip, these traps. So, which is not ideal because there's no rust on them, so the speed dip is just sticky. It never cures, it never attaches them much. It just kind of comes off. Did that one. Not ideal, but come on. So again, I'm going to show you. I put my fingers down here. Wow, that is way crooked. And then tilt it. That's a little too much, so I got to tilt it a little lower. Come on. It is what it is. It's going to be a little crooked, but so it should sit in there. I wonder where Judith and Dan is. I know that me and Judith and Dan were talking about these pans, but they were talking about the metal ones. I just got the wood ones. But it's gonna sit in there like that. When it's set, it's actually gonna be facing the opposite way. It's gonna be facing in. Then when they hit it, it pops off. The thing pops off and it fires. There's another one done. One more. Oh, I got a couple more. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Got a notification, somebody or something. Hopefully I'm not live when somebody else is going live on the bigger channels. I don't want to do that to them. I don't intend to ever. Actually, one of my first lives that I actually gave you guys a heads up on, I couldn't do because Trapper J and Iowa were going live that day, and I was like, that was a Friday, and I was like, no way. I totally blanked on it beforehand, but yeah. So I'm gonna put these in here. Come on. That one's a little easier. Let's see. Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. That one's longer than the other trigger wire. I actually have a friend coming to do my work on my back. Kind of a cool thing. It's called PEMF, PEMF, and it's a like a pulse electromagnetic therapy thing. And they're using on horses, but they're going to use it on my back. I'm setting some steel tomorrow to run another line for another week stretch. Are you going to be running any footage for the cows? Me? No, not this year. I don't. I'm mostly going to be doing stuff with Conibears. The majority of the stuff is all Conibears. So I have the stuff for Legholds, just not going to do it unless it's beaver drowner stuff. And I actually just picked up. This is part of the other part of my FTT order today. There the pans and some 10-foot drowners because the river last year fluctuated too much. Where 6-foot drowners fluctuate 5 feet, right, in and out from the bank, and therefore you would only have a foot of drowner left, and we're like, that's not good at all. So we got the 10-footers. So I got the 10-footers. My dad and brother like, nope, it's fine. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's not. It's not humane at all. We don't need them pushing their feet off. If that makes sense to you. Then once again, take this here. Get that off there soon. So put my hands right here. If I want the bend, and bend it in. Starting to get the hang of it now. That one's done. I've never ran things. Never felt like the need for it. But the only thing I was wondering about is the avoidance aspect of it. Is avoidance of having the triggers hanging down is something that they bump into and they see, and it's a little bit of avoidance. I'm gonna try the pans this year. If I don't like them, bending them up, taking the pans off, redoing the triggers. Like that's why I'm not cutting them because I don't know if I want to. If I would want to do it properly, I'd cut that much off triggers and run them all the way up real close to the end. But I don't know if I want to do that yet. I don't want to necessarily ruin these triggers to these Salvage Joe triggers, and I cannot necessarily get more of them. I'd have to order them from Canada. I'd have to specially order them. Nobody up there in Canada that ships to the United States carries them, so I'd have to actually call a company like, hey, I need a couple. And it's not exactly a direct line to Salvage Joe either. It's like a big corporation. So as far as what I understand, so it would be a lot of work. I look at it as Salvage Joe is a company that does other stuff, but they stuck their head into the trap market and they make traps, but that's not their main thing. So there really is no way to call Savage Joe, or Savage Traps, if you will. In my opinion, I couldn't find a way to actually call them and ask about the trigger, why they're so thin. But let's turn this in right here. These got a couple more left. I got some more traps coming. Some big 440 RBGs, some big ones, big 12-inch across traps, and a bunch of H-stands. I bought the last 11 by 12 H-stands from a snare shop. I want to make sure I had them, and because if I want to run some 12-inch RBGs, they fit on those stands. So I bought the last 7 of them, even though I only really need 6. I just wanted to make sure I had them. If that makes sense, because nobody else in the United States carries them, 12-inch wide traps. And I wanted to make sure that I got them, so when I wanted to get some big traps, I couldn't use them. Because I've been going back and forth and getting big traps, if that makes sense. But I decided, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do 4 big Savage Joes, these big ones over here. 4 big ones like this. This big one, 4 big ones like this. And 4 RBG 440s. So let's get one more here. I got one more to do. Gotta get this done before the old parents come back from their dinner. They're like, "We're not taking you today." I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, that's cool. No big deal. I got other stuff I gotta do. Like I'll just order my own food. So there's that. Put them together. Once again, so what I'm doing is I'm trying to compare the two here. Make sure I had to actually set this and make sure the panel's going the right way. So that's why I'm comparing them, because other than that, I don't really know just by freehand and looking at it. Someone just came in and left, but not sure who that was. These are pans that I'm doing for the 220s. I was kind of shocked at how short they are versus how long. Yeah, my head's cut off right now because I'm doing something down by my stomach area. So I want to make sure you guys can see what I'm doing here, versus having you not be able to see what I'm doing and just doing the other way. I don't think that's fair for you guys, for me to be like, "Oh, I'm doing this, and doing this," and you guys are up here and you're like, "Oh, I can't see anything you're doing, so therefore my video is worthless." If that makes sense. Kind of get what I'm saying? So yeah, so I bought some. Like I said, I bought 2 of these. We're gonna only run 2 Legos this year. 2 10-foot drowners from F&T. I run the 1/8 inch. Don't run the smaller. Smaller dealt with. You put one in there, gets caught, twists up, and goodbye. The 1/8 inch, I've only had one time where they twist up and couldn't use it again. So that's something to watch out for. Come on, there we go. Is that one done? Oh, is this one done? Yeah, done. Like, I don't know if you guys saw my last video where I said take the trigger wire, put it between your springs, and this one just came out with it perfect like that. Whereas it was between the springs, and what happens is, right, when you store them, if you store them set, put them like this, and that protects your spring from getting bent up. So when I pulled out, it was perfect like that. So if that makes sense to you, try to protect your springs, or not your springs, but your triggers the best you can. I decided to do this instead of just making a 20-minute video of me just fooling around doing this. Decided to go live for you guys. There is now nobody in here, according to the number chart that I have. 39 minutes, nobody in here. But oh well. I guess I could shut this off and just make a video out of it. But I am technically making a video right now that's going to get posted anyway, so. You guys don't necessarily have to be here. Come on. A little more. Good. I'm going to take this. Yeah. The numbers don't mean nothing. Exactly. At least you're still here. I mean, yeah, the numbers, it says there's 0 in here and you're in here. So I'm like, that's impossible for there to be 0 people and while you're watching. So the numbers obviously at this point, or as they say in England, a loaded chod wallop. Chod wallop. Chod is like a leafy bottom when they talk about carp fishing. Like choddy is a bunch of leaves. Chod wallop is just like a bunch of BS. So that's a chod wallop. Oh, this one has disposable on it. I need to actually get more disposables because I finished putting them on all my traps. I have a bunch of the super stakes on there, but I'm gonna switch over to the whatever. Don't want to touch the but don't want to touch it because there's Cosmoline and oil slime, but the bull fangs right there. Let's see. How is this gonna go? Flip this over. There we go. That. Just barely put pressure on this right now, and the trigger's bent. The triggers are kind of cheap garbage on these Dow Joes, but didn't know that at the time. Instead of buying one at one, I bought 12, and well, now I'm stuck with them. I'm not going to resell them because if I were to resell them, I would resell them all and get RBGs, but I'll use them this season, see what happens. If I don't like them, oh well, I'll just buy a dozen other ones. Problem is, then I need to store them. So, yeah. And it's not like I have a first shed. This is just my garage. Let's put you guys back down here real quick. I'm just between you and talking on Messenger. Oh yeah, that's fine. That's completely fine. I do the same thing. When Trapper J or somebody's live, not necessarily just Trapper J, I'll put it on, but I'll watch, and then of course I'll get messages. My social media page right now has a viral video that's going around 24 million views. A couple days ago, it was at 20 million views. So I constantly get notifications all day long. There's no way to stop it. 20 million views and comments all day long. So I have multiple things I'm doing at once. But that's why I always see me go like this. You always see, like there's another one. There's a guy put big fish, big in the fish emoji. Pull that up. So I'm always going like that, moving it up because I'm always getting notifications. And when I don't do that, it pops down. It drives me nuts because I can't see the full screen. So it drives me nuts. I'm like, oh, he's bumping it up. Problem is with doing that, if you accidentally click it, then you get kicked out of here, and then it's a problem. But I'll always be on people's channels watching their stuff. But there's a lot of times where I'll flip it up, get a text, or something. I'll go out of it real quick and come back. But I'm always trying to tune into the channels best I can. But at the same time, I mean, like I said, my channel, everything gets blown up. There's all kinds of stuff going on my page. Whether it's I'm even in the Snapchat, like it's like after you take a picture, 24 hours later it disappears. But on that, I'm in multiple chat groups, so it's just going all day, all night, and people all over the world, and I just can't stop it. So it's exhausting. Sometimes I wake up at 4 a.m. and it goes boop boop. It's like, what the heck? But I'm here, so that's okay as long as you're here. See. I'm starting to like the way I'm doing these a little better. The angle, the bend on them is a little better. So see, I got two wood planks, I'll call them, wood pans left. My only worry with this, if you don't set it right and it slams shut and hits the metal, these are gonna split. So that's one thing I gotta worry about is if this thing slams shut and it's done wrong, boom, they split. And they're not gonna split this way, they're gonna split like this. Because the trigger's through them like this, and it's very thin. Even though it's a hardwood, it's still pretty thin. Folks, I only have one left of the earth anchor, so I gotta buy more. It's funny, this year I bought like 30 34 inch or 30 inch stakes, right? I thought, you know what, I'm gonna use all stakes this year. Got the box and I picked that box up and I'm like, no, not even gonna happen. No way in heck I'm carrying 50 pounds of steaks, just steaks in my pack. There's no way. No way I'm putting 50 pounds of steaks. Just that. I won't even have room for traps. I was like, no way I'm buying earth anchors. I already had them and I decided to buy earth anchors. So Why the big pan? Well, so when it's sitting there like this, right? Good question. So when it's sitting there like this, they go into it, they hit this, they see it. A lot of animals will come up there and sniff around the pan. You'll see beavers do that when it's half submerged near the bank. They come up and sniff the trap, sniff stuff. They sniff all around. They know you're there, right? And so taking the trigger out of there and just bending the trigger so it's on the bottom. You see there like that on that one? If you take it and it's set like this, right? Of course, it'll be set properly. It's going to be actually inside the thing versus out. But sets like that, then the trigger's on the bottom. They bump that, hit it with their stomach, boom, it fires. There's nothing here telling them not to go through. Like this will be set, right? There's just an opening. There's no wires. There's nothing that they'll bump and be like, okay, what's this on my nose? Nothing. There's no avoidance necessarily as much as there's avoidance with the wire sticking down. Now you can bend them in a U shape. You can bend them all different ways, but that's just the way I'm going to try this year because these are going to be land traps. There's going to be at least one that I'm going to keep for regular trails and for muskrats, so it's going to just be the regular wires, but that's all. That's why. Less avoidance, basically, the short answer. There's that trap. See, make sure it's like that. Get over. Squeeze it together. Come on. Like I said, I wish they weren't so thin this way. I wish they're like that long, but a little bit more something to step on. So they say, oh, they step on the pan, but if the pan's not that big, the foot's that big, all they got to step on is that. If they miss, they miss. Like, it's pointless. So I'm not very happy with how small they are. They looked a lot bigger when I bought them, but I thought about doubling them, but I was like, there's no way it's going to work. It would end up hitting the jaws of the trap. Okay, so yeah, it's to help them to avoid getting spooked off, or they'll go through, they'll walk through, and their stomach will hit them, their legs will hit it, it'll end up firing. Tongue punch all predator. Which all predator? Tongue punch all predator. I don't know if I want to do that tonight, but which one are you talking about? Are you talking about the OF from Scrabble J, or are you talking about the regular all predator? Weston. Because the OF is stuck at the post office. They confiscated it, and they're gonna have to investigate it. If you saw on Facebook, Scrabble J it finally happened to him where they took the package and they're investigating it. It was considered intercepted because they either think it's a dead body, they think it's weed, or they think something's in there that's wrong. But they took the package off and stopped it from getting delivered. So they're gonna have to inspect it, open it up, look at it, and I feel really bad for the guy that's gonna have to do that because it's gonna be a bit stinky. Called the lady up and she's like, well, she said the whole post office is stinking. I'm like, yeah, it's not a dead body, it's not a weed, it's skunk essence, like skunk spray. And she's like, oh, it's stinking the whole facility up. And I told her, well, if you're gonna open it up, wear a mask. And I'm not talking about COVID mask. I'm talking about like a mask. He's gonna look at it and be like, oh fuck, and he's probably gonna get fired because he says the F word or something. Yeah, I mean, oh well. I was kidding my parents. I was like, I'm just gonna do it to piss the postman off. Then I ended up actually buying it because I saw it and I was like, gosh, it's gonna work good in like a bucket set. Try to get a bobcat in there. My parents were like, well, you just did it to piss off the postman. I'm like, no, not actually. I know that was what I was joking about, but no. Come on. Gosh, that looks too high. Ooh. Okay, that's a bit cockeyed, eh? Bit cockeyed. Uh-oh. 3:30 Maniac uploaded. After this though, I'm gonna have to go right there and watch that. Like all you guys should when this is over. Not yet. Don't leave me. I'll be sad. That one done. I have one more left. So, see. So disgusting. Ow, I caught my finger in it. Not the trap didn't set off, but take stuff inside. Stuff takes down the side. Come on. Oh fuck. That's crazy. Yeah, well, let's just say the postman is very nice who delivers stuff. Kind of feel bad about it, but been doing it 20 years. About time you get a stinky package, buckwheat or buddy. Before you say you called him buckwheat, that's racist. He's not African American, so it's not racist. And buckwheat wasn't a little rascal. That's what I'm getting this. I'm not talking about race stuff, okay? Little rascal, the African American guy was buckwheat, but that's not the reason I said that. I said just buckwheat as a term, but don't take it wrong. I mean, it's not a dick. Don't take it so hard. You know what I mean? Sorry. I had a friend that was mad at me because I said, because his name's Joe, and I said, Joe Mama, it's all predator lure because we're talking about stuff. And he's like, don't say that unless for a problem. I'm like, it's a joke, but it's not a serious comment. And they just laughed. I'm like, good, you laughed. That's an improvement, you know? That's improvement on the situation. Oh, people say I'm a dick, but I mean, I have a good sense of humor about everything, you know? I don't mean it that way in a rude way. They're supposed to be funny. They didn't laugh. Can't help you if you don't laugh. I was kidding around in the community page. I posted a picture of a cow in the car, right? In a car laying down. I said, oh, I found this cow out, or this dog out by Hag Lake or whatever, out by the lake, Highway 47 in Gaston. And people were like, that, and it said, I'm trying to find its owner, this and that, a long story about how I'm trying to find its owner. People were like, that's not a cow. That's not a dog. That's a coyote. And I'm just thinking, if you couldn't figure out that I said that the dog's a bit nippy, I had a hard time getting him in the car. Can you not figure out that's a joke? I mean, I had 45 different comments like, man, that's not a dog. I was thinking, bro, where's your common sense? We obviously not a dog. And in my mind, I'm thinking, maybe you should get out the city a little bit. Maybe you should get outside the city. It might be good for you. Just, get away from the steel buildings and concrete buildings, if you will. There's a lot bigger world out there than staying inside your house in the buildings. But I was thinking that, but I never said it. I would go to Facebook jail so fast if I said that to somebody. They'd be like, he's bullying and harassing me. Oh, it's just funny. Because they literally took my post. I posted a coyote in the car, like in somebody's car, off the internet. And then I posted a story about how I'm trying to find the dog's owner, and it was lost. I also said it was like eating a dead deer, and it was a bit nippy and hard to get in the car. And I'm like, I'm trying to find its owner. I think it's lost. I need to find its owner, this and that. Then I posted on the community page. People thought it was real. Then I posted in the outdoors page. People that go in the outdoors all day, and half the people thought it was real. I'm thinking, wow. If you in the outdoors and you think that's a real post, I actually got a cow in my car, and he's a bit nippy, and he was eating a dead deer, and I think it's a dog. And I'm the admin of the group. I own the group, and it's at like 20,000 people. Shouldn't you know that I know it's not a dog, it's a coyote? But no, people still believed I was crazy and out lunch because they thought I was thinking it was a dog. But they didn't laugh. They're like, "Oh my gosh, that's a coyote. I'm surprised you got it in the car." And I'm like, man, no, it's a picture off the internet. Even the guy in the comments posted the original article with it, and they still sat there and commented like, when I see stuff on Facebook, I try to go through and read all the comments so I get an idea what's going on. So I don't just make like a blatant comment out over nothing. I sit there and read what they posted, the title, and I read if I see the poster has replied to comments, I'll read their comments. Therefore, I get a grasp on what the situation is, even if they don't tell the whole group. So therefore, I can make a better educated decision on the comment, and therefore I can know what's going on. So I don't look like a dumbass that literally above the comment someone says the answer or says what's going on. Then I'm like, oh well, you could do this, and I'm wrong. I've seen people post literally right after somebody answers the question and tells me exactly what to do, and saying this is what I would do, and it's completely wrong, completely backwards, or asking, or another example, someone says something about a city. I live here. I live in Hillsborough, whatever, and I saw this and this, and someone in the comments down the way would be like, where do you live? I'm just thinking, did you not read the post? Did you not read the replies? Usually if they tell you this, they'll tell you the city in someone else's reply, so they got a grasp. They didn't get better help that person, but I don't know. I try to be as helpful as possible. a lot of times it bites me in the ass because people don't like help and they take it as I'm telling them what to do when I'm not. Kind of get what I'm saying? I say, you should try this, you should do this. Well, I'm not telling you do that because you're wrong. I'm saying you should try this because it may work better. This is what I've done. This is my experience. But no, they take it as a personal attack and then they flip out. It's just like, what the heck? I was trying to help. How's the simple comment and helping go to a 50 conversation into attacking each other? I'm trying to help. Yeah. That and people with no common sense and sense of humor, right? If common sense says it's probably too good to be true, and everybody thinks it's true, hate to tell you, it's probably a joke or fake. It would be like someone saying, I do special effects makeup and I cut my finger off, doing all special effects and faking the finger cut off. And people are like, oh my God, you cut your finger off and I'm calling 911 for you. I'm getting help. Are you serious? It's and they say it's FX makeup. Where you live, where you located, I'll call the police for you and help you. They said it's fake. It's special effects makeup, FX makeup, special effects makeup. It's fake. It's not real. Can you comprehend? It's not real. And I mean, the internet blows my mind sometimes. Literally, you could read one comment above, people answer stuff, and the person would totally ignore. Like, you want to have a whole conversation with somebody, tell them what's going on, explain stuff, and perfectly explain to somebody, and they'd be like, oh, that makes a lot more sense. 5 minutes later, it acts almost like they read your conversation, but they skip it completely and go to a whole nother reply and reply to your comment versus replying to the conversation and be like, well, you're an idiot, this and that. I'm like, I just tell them, just go back and read the conversation that you entirely skipped, and it would answer your question. But then they flip out like, why are you being so mean to me? And I'm just like, God, the internet, I hate typing out long explanations, and usually when I give a long explanation, step by step what I'm talking about, and people completely ignore it and try to ignore what happened and try to attack you because they don't agree with what you said, but act like they ignored the whole conversation. I'm like, it blows my mind sometimes. People just completely ignore the whole conversation. Will the trap fire right with the blocks on them? Yes, they will. I experimented with that. The trap. I know I got off on tangent. Sorry, but people blow my mind. So the way it has to be, the trap has to be facing in, right? If it's faced the opposite way, if you face it the opposite way, when it fires, it will block the trap. So there's a technique to it that I watched on a video. Can't exactly remember, so I did on one after watching the video and was copying that. But it needs to face. I'm not going to set this. So if I set this and I don't do it right, I'm going to get caught in it because the safeties are too long. But the trap is set, and it has to be. If it snaps this way, right? If it snaps this way, it needs to be facing in. So they walk into the thing and then set it off. And it has to fire inside the trap. So you put it in the bucket, it needs to fire this way. The pan, not this way, not a different way. It needs to fire this way. And that way, when it fires, it flings over and it traps fire. And it doesn't get caught in the way. Hard to explain. You'd have to watch a few videos on it. I'm not very good at explaining and doing a video on it. But if you do it the opposite way, when it fires, it'll block the triggers from firing, the animal will get away. So yes, the way they are. Also, if these are too long, right? If these are too long, they hit the bars here and they won't fire. They'll hit the triggers, therefore they won't fire. So they got to be short enough that they won't hit this, and they got to be short enough that when it swings around, it doesn't get blocked. If that makes sense. Does that make sense? Kind of. Makes sense the right way. I often say I'm only on the internet because I have friends that moved away and I need to talk to them. But then it's funny because you're on there and you're in all the groups. But then you're in the groups. Yes, okay. Then you're in the groups, and of course you get sucked into the BS, and then you try to help the person. And they're like, "Well, this is not right," and then you go back and forth and like, "Dude, I'm trying to help you," and they still flip out on you. Turns into an argument. Then you're just like, "What the heck?" Then a half hour later, you come find out that the person reporting you and you can't post for 30 days because you tried to help somebody, and you tried to point out that, dude, you're missing the point completely. But oh well, I'm in basically jail for 26 days right now for 30 days total, but 26 days left. Get out 2 days before my birthday. So, yep. And oh well, at least I get out before my birthday. I basically told someone mentioned, they were a liberal and they're trying to point out to me that they remember when gas was $5 a gallon, right? They don't live in California, they live somewhere else, the United States, and they're like, I remember when it's $5 a gallon. I said, can you prove it's $5 a gallon? Because I just had this conversation with somebody else and they couldn't prove it. He comes back, he's like, well, sorry, it's $4 a gallon, this and that, and we're talking about forth, and he reports me, I get banned for 30 days. So, no, you don't remember. The best you could find is $4 a gallon, not $5. They're inflating everything more than it really is, right? It was $4, which is reasonable. I understand $4 a gallon, which is crazy outrageous, but that's more reasonable and believable than saying it's $5 a gallon. Maybe if you live in California, it's $5 a gallon, right? But this dude lived in like Kentucky or something, and there's no way it's $5 a gallon, and he couldn't prove it. He couldn't find one article. I said, if you can prove to me, I'll keep my mouth shut and apologize. He couldn't prove it. He could only prove $4. What are the animals you're targeting this season? What animals I'm targeting this season? That's all good. What am I? So I think June and Dan Davis have a video. They do. And I was surprised they aren't in here because that's who I got the idea from, but I decided to go wood instead of metal. What am I targeting this year? Well, that's nasty. I got stuff all in my hands. Bobcat, beaver, almost all water animals, besides like mink and stuff like that. Muskrat, possum, raccoon, beaver, otter. I don't want the skunk. I'm not going to get that since I don't want to cut it up. What did I say? Possum, I think I said. Nutria, that's the one. Nutria too, because if you set a trap out here in water, you're gonna catch nutria first, and then whatever it'll be whatever. You're gonna catch whatever after that. But nutria. Yeah. Not gonna really do coyotes. I'm gonna try to get a coyote to stick his head in a bucket, but that's like a 1 in a million shot, and they're very cagey. They don't even go in cages, so. Oh well. If I can get a bobcat in the same set, I'll be happy. I'm gonna be happy with 2 raccoons this year, because we don't get a lot. We got 1 last year, but we got like 14 beavers on main target. Majority of stuff. Majority of my efforts going into beaver trapping, otter trapping, stuff like that. In Oregon, the biggest you can put on land is a 220. So that includes putting it in all it has to be doing touch water. So when water goes out and it's on land, I can get a ticket. So the majority, more 220s than I have anything else. I have a few 330s, like a half dozen. I'm actually getting 7 12-inch traps, so the bigger traps. Because the 50-pounders we caught last year, the beaver looked small in the 330s. I was like, man, they look pretty small. I think I got that done, so that's good. Now I gotta put them all back. Oh, I'm still hanging out with you guys. I got other stuff to do, so but I'll be here. I'm gonna hang out. I don't have other stuff to do. I'll be here. What else am I gonna do? What is it, Saturday? It's Saturday. Got nothing to do. Actually, I think I told you guys that about Wednesday that I have a friend coming to do like a pulse magnetic therapy. It's like it twitches your muscle and like heals your muscle and fuses the back muscles back together and fixes stuff. They actually use it on horses, but they do it on my back, and they do it on people. My friend's mom, her hips got put out of place when she had her last kid and never went back, and so she can't ride the horse without getting it done on her, and it's helped her a ton. So I'm gonna get it done. Then my dad actually signed up for an appointment too. He's having back problems, so. You should use poplar. She's poplar fragrance. Yeah, I thought about that. Only thing with that is poplar. I don't think it's like a hardwood. So, and I also don't want the beavers to eat them. So, I have a whole alder tree that's cut down in the forest right now that I can go make pans out of. But I mean, I would have to take a chunk about that wide home and mill it up and cut it and all that stuff, sand it. But poplar, alder, I mean, is a soft hardwood. I cut through it with an axe, or with a machete last year. It's cut right through the whole thing in no time. It's a soft, very soft hardwood. But I thought about making my own. A lot of people take the alder and the birch trees and carve spoons out of them and start carving stuff because they're soft wood. They're a hardwood, but they're softer, if that makes sense. This is going to be an absolute mess right here. Get this stuff out. Now, but here's a tip for people that sell H stands. If you're going to make your own, make sure your welds don't pointy and cut people. Not going to name names where I bought it, but cut the hell out of me. But I just got poked by it because it was so sharp. That's a tip for the manufacturers out there. Don't sell H stands unless you're going to grind and make sure you take care of all the welds that doesn't have wire and splatters and all that stuff. Slag, as they call it on there. You're going to make your customers a lot happier if you do that. When they start trapping, technically 3 of our traps are going in Monday, but that's just at the golf course, and that's the start. We technically start putting all of them in December. We're going to put them in. We can't start this Monday. So, well, the problem is the people that I go trap with, my dad and brother, are down Medford. They're all on the other end of the state, all the way down south. So we're not going to start until December. He's going to go shoot a buck down there. That makes sense. I'll probably do another live another day. I'm not done yet, but setting up my pack basket, what I'm going to put in there for the first round. That makes sense. Keep asking questions. If you have questions, I'll try to answer them. Anyone want to know how we're getting set up? I think it's a 2 280s and a 160. Let me know if you want to know that. Another Anthony Rubio fishing update. Oh, I've been blown up for forever. The video's got like 24 million views right now. Do you want to know? Are you guys wondering how we're going to set up the golf course? What configurations we're going to do, how we're going to set up, and stuff like that? Let me know. Man, I miss New Orleans. This time of night, it'd be pitch black and we'd be going downtown, walking around. I miss New Orleans. Went back in June. It was a lot of fun. Sure, it's your life. Well, it's 1 220s on the H stand, right? It's going to be in a creek bed, and the other's going to be a 220, and it's going to be on a KB, and that's going to be on rock. So the 160 is off to a side trail that we cut in, and that's going to be for like muskrat, anything else. We caught a mink in it. We caught otter in the 160. We've caught otter in the 280s. So anything that goes through there, basically what it's protecting is all the fish in the ponds up there. It's the main entrance into the place. They have to go through that tunnel and then they make it to the golf course. And we set that because if we don't, they'll wipe all the fish out. And the golf club is like, if you can do it, put them in. Put them in there. And we'll put them in every year. Last year we had like a 56-pound beaver go into the 280, rip it down through the culvert and out the other side, and we have to go get it. So it's kind of crazy. There's a big beaver. Yeah, these big 11 by 12s. They're actually sold out at a snare shop right now, but they have really heavy duty. I mean, they're really heavy duty springs. They're full. They're really heavy duty. But, when I get the RBG, I'm gonna compare the spring thickness, the strength of the two, and see if I want to get more of these or I want to get all RBG 440s. So it's gonna be a test on the strength, the stock thickness, all that stuff. I really want to see if the RBGs have the power that this does. Now, there's nothing wrong with RBGs. That's just personal preference that it has the power some other traps have. But when you buy these, they come with 6 inch or 6 feet of cable, but they don't come with a big enough loop to stake or tie off. So I made myself a cable loop to stick the thing. Yeah, it is a 10 or 11 high, 12 across. So it's a big trap. It's definitely a big one. It's a big deal. It's thick stock. It's real heavy duty. Definitely a top of the line trap. But at snare shop they're like $40, so you got to pay for them. That's huge. Yeah, it's pretty big. I got a tall H stand for it from snare shop too. Yeah, they're pretty. I mean, compared to a 220, it's like let's find an RBG 220 real quick. So a round 220 right here, right? There's a round 220, and here's the 11 by 12. So, of course, we got the stand in there, but come on, really, I'm just caught up on stuff. This is why stuff needs to be put away around here. But there's the RBG or the 11 by 12, and here's the 220 RBG. So 220, 11 high, 12 across. So there's a difference. And if you were to put them inside each other, yeah, it's huge. It's huge. I want a bigger trap here. Come on. That's why when I tell my mom, hey, put away the Christmas stuff or stuff, put it away. What brand body grip do you use? The round ones, RBG, Savage Joe, the square ones, and then Belial, and then out of the golf course we're going to be using Dukes because it's public access. Public access private property. It's privately owned, but it's public golf course, and the people literally will walk past, and we don't want them to take them. Oh, those meals? No, those are custom crayfish or crawfish traps. Out here we have a different crawfish than down south. Down south they have small crawfish. We have big crawfish. They're called a signal crawfish, and they can be about 9 inches long from claw to tail. They can be 9-10 inches long. So they can be about that wide, 9-10 inches long, and they're real big crawfish. And we need a special trap for a bigger opening. The ones that commercially make are made for southern crawfish. They're smaller, so you don't get the real big honking crawfish down in those traps down here. Those are actually custom made by my friend, and he basically takes a waste basket, a wire waste basket, wires them together, and then puts a custom entry on the end and puts his stuff in there. He also sells them reinforced with steel beams to keep them reinforced. Shields has Duke body grips on sale for sure. Yeah, I order a lot of my fishing stuff from Steels. A lot of my gulp baits from Steels that I use in the saltwater. Hopefully none of my fishing friends are watching this because they'll know exactly what I'm doing and they're talking about it. They'll go kill all my fish or go get a stringer full of fish. They'll watch it, oh well, but stay out of my spot. It's not my spot, it's a public jetty. I'm only kidding. I shouldn't even say that actually, but I just did, so it's too late. It's late, and yeah, I'm gonna shut up about that. 25 years of fishing that jetty. I'm not intending to ruin it now. But then again, there's multiple ways to fish the gulp, so you can fish however you want. I fish it different than about everybody there, and I catch stringers full. I mean, at one point, the state troopers there got to know us because we were the only, me and my grandfather, and my dad, brother were the only people carrying stringers. I mean, I'm dead serious, stringers of 15 plus fish off the jetty at a time, and other people would carry 1 and 2. We were carrying 15 at a time off the jetty, and nobody else was doing it. And we ended up getting known by the state troopers for getting our limits out there. So, I mean, yeah, we hammer them out there. I mean, we hammer them big time. We've hooked some fish out there on the jetty so big that we couldn't get him up. He dogged his head, put it down. I mean, lingcod, the type of you've probably seen them on TV, but it's like a saltwater fish and they have teeth, and that thing has to be around 30 inches. We normally catch around 25 to 28, 20, 25, 28. That would be 20 inches to keep. That thing had to be 35 inches, and the mouth on that thing, when I saw it before it popped off, was that wide. And I'm not exaggerating, okay? I know people be like, it's that wide, you know. Seriously, the serious mouth is that wide. I'm not, no exaggeration, none. I saw it, that's how big. I'm not telling a fish story either. I'm not just saying it. That big, and normally you catch them when they're that big. This thing had a giant mouth, mondo, and went to lift it and pop. I've never heard my dad scream like that in my life. He let out a blood curdling scream, like just mad, no, you know. And yeah, I saw it, and then I could have got it too, but it went into the water. Like a blood curdling no. Like I've never heard him yell before. He's not a yeller, and my God, he yelled. Okay. It's funny fishing out there though. Yeah, so this looks like a minnow trap compared to the 11 by 12, but that's what it is. I'm still here, guys. Let me come over here real quick. Oh, this season I put in a ton of effort. I've been prepping for like 4 or 5 months already. I've been prepping, buying, and sharing, and for around 4 or 5 months I've been prepping stuff, upgrading. I've done so much that I'm almost completely exhausted before the season even starts. Like almost exhausted, like beat. But it's been doing stuff more and more and more and more, just more and more stuff, and well, tiring. But I'm excited for the season. Make sure that fits in there. Whatever. Come on. Man, I smell Burger King. Or barbecue. It smells good. There we go. Love getting traps out and supplies, right? Yeah, me too. But man, I've been just doing it all day long. It's over and over and over. I'm so flipping exhausted. It's makes my back hurt just thinking about it. So yeah, I'm probably gonna get off now. I gotta go inside, watch 3:30 Maniac, catch up on all the lives. Potentially Dunlap might be going live. I don't know, on Facebook, so I gotta catch those. Yeah, Perch, eat, breathe, sleep, trapping right now. So, all right, have a good one, guys. Bye.